Yeet. Welcome to the Paradigm Shift, episode 79. 79. My goodness. Talk about the power of consistency, commitment, all that good jazz. Waiting for my copilot, the articulate alligator, the blessed bat, the sex octopus, Dave Meltzer to hop on right now. We got a very special guest on tonight. Big Dave, I see you. You handsome hamster. Let's get this party started. How cute is this guy gonna look right now? Happy Saturday, everybody. New time. Same day, updated time. Let's rock. Yeet. There. Can I have a hug?
Hello.
I love you. How you doing?
And a kiss. What's up, brother?
When did you get home?
Midnight. Had the best 25th anniversary trip combined with a couple speeches as well, but it was extraordinary, perfect in every way. And I actually rescheduled my trip home, as you know, which is why we're doing this, to see my son's football game. They changed the time at the last minute. So as I live by my non-negotiables and prioritize my family, I am so glad I did too, because it was a great game and Miles played wonderfully. I'm proud of him, and I'd much rather be watching my son play than any other thing in Europe, that's for sure.
I understand. And I know you had a great time with wifey and so forth. What was your biggest takeaway based upon where you were?
A few takeaways. One, climate change is absolutely the number one worldwide issue. Whether you believe in any climate change or not, it's definitely the biggest issue. Two, the economy is absolutely a concern worldwide. And then three, for me, politics, surprisingly, were not that big of a deal as much anymore. So even with the Queen dying while I was over there and the funeral and everything, but more importantly, it was just interesting. I will tell you that one other thing that definitely was a takeaway is that the food over there being much more organic and clean, it was amazing. I felt like I could eat whatever I wanted and not gain weight over there compared to the processed food here. I feel like even in Philly or New York, one bad meal, I'm working out for a week to make up for it. There was no bad meals, and the fish was beautiful. The breads were healthy. The carbs definitely digest in a different way, which was really nice. So I ended up going on a 2-week trip and exercising, working out, walking, beautiful 72-degree weather almost every day. So it was a winner all around.
What a great reflection. Off the top of your head, you said you love the food. What was your favorite dish?
The last day in Amsterdam, actually, we had seafood, and we had everything from razor mussels to which I've never had before, to the most extraordinary oysters, crab. There's just amazing seafood. The oysters probably stood out the most throughout the trip in Europe. I'm a big oyster fan. They were delicious.
Hell yeah. I've been to Amsterdam. I went to Amsterdam on my 21st birthday. A really interesting and cool and exciting place. So much culture there, which I really appreciate.
Yeah, we were in the French Riviera, the Italian Riviera. Took a scooter up to Tuscany for wine tours and beautiful touring, and rented a car. We were driving all through France and Italy, and then flew over to Amsterdam. Cut it short, though, so we could make the football game today, which was a joy as well. And now we are at home and going to relax this evening.
What about the red light district?
We stayed away from it this time, although we did go to the coffee shop and enjoy ourselves for an evening, and partook in a lot of legal but yet very entertaining and fun circumstances arose while we were there. It was wonderful.
Understood. I love it. Before we bring on our special guest, let me dive right in. I love how you and I catch up on a live. It's so much fun. I hired 2 full-time employees this week. I'm really excited about it because one thing that I really did love doing when I was on Wall Street is elevating the troops and helping people see more for themselves and then get to that position. So I'm really excited about that. And one of the many things that you teach me and help me with is your specific leadership and culture with your team, which is growing so fast and it's so special. What excites you most about leading your troops, Dave, and then also the culture that you've set?
Well, I've been doing it for longer, obviously, than you have. So to see the leadership component come in. So there's a 3-stage process that takes time. And the first is the investment, which you'll be making into your 2 new employees. There'll be an investment stage where you invest, they more or less learn and shadow. Then you have an execution stage, which can last a period of time where you build them up to be profitable in their own respect, to learn, to not only work with you, but then allow you to supervise them. But where I'm at in my stage of the business is the equity stage, where I have business leaders in my business that, I invested in, they shadowed me, they worked with me, I supervised them. Now people are shadowing them, working with them, and that has now scaled to the point where we have, quite a large business and quite a large impact.
What you do so well, Dave, amongst many things, is you help everyone on the team buy into the big vision, where it's not like an individual wave. It's like one ocean, and everybody's a part of it. And when one person does well, everybody does well.
Yeah, well, you have to be in contact. And I think the pandemic actually assisted in that, because it allowed me to do a Monday, Wednesday, Friday mandatory non-negotiable get together, collective consciousness, where we go over the values every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We go over the daily practices every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We go through as students of our calendar every Monday, Wednesday, or Friday. Mondays and Fridays, we have Q&A. Fridays, we also have an additional training. So everybody is on the same frequency. We've created a neighborhood or a consciousness where we are all elevated by one another. We are raising our frequency and bringing in more sponsors and power sponsors like you, elevating others, as well as allowing them to help us be elevated as well.
Yeah, I love that. And I had the honor and the privilege, right when I think maybe the first time I met you in person, sitting in one of your meetings. And it was awesome just how there's like a different human for a different day of the week for the calendar.
Yeah, we have calendar captains, and now I have 2 captains for every day and a next day captain. So, we have about 20 people involved in studying, paying attention and giving attention to all activity. We have planned, not have planned, paid, unpaid, and even my sleep. And I even have a captain that talks to Julie every day to make sure that we're prioritizing her time and our family time to coordinate, so that we don't have coaching calls overlapping football games, or that we're utilizing dead time or drive time to effectuate even more productivity.
You're such a stud. You really are. And you're getting sexy about that. We're going to bring on our guest right now, but I wanted to ask you this real quick. And for the audience listening, if you haven't read Dave's book yet, Connected to Goodness, you should ask for it today and start that. I'm just curious, Dave, what was your inspiration? What made you want to write that book at the time that you did?
Well, I was doing so many trainings. I've been doing trainings for almost 23 years come this October. And I had a general counsel who was a movie script writer as well. And I was assisting him as a script writer. And after several of my trainings, he said, hey, you should really write a book about this manifestation process and the principles and the key elements that you've been teaching everyone. And so he convinced me to write the book and help me write that book. And by interviewing me, asking me questions, having us together with these coordinated collaborative sessions that allowed us to build that book. And then I wrote the section number 1. Now we have one of my favorite people on earth here with us. But I wrote section number 1, which was cathartic, self-revealing, and really changed my life. Section 2 was really the part that he assisted me with, which was codifying the principles and key elements to manifest whatever you want in life and business. But section 1 of that book is very personal and cathartic for me, because I was able to come out of my bankruptcy where I lost over $100 million here. I made it back, and I used that section 1 to really have a release and take accountability for what had happened. And it's amazing when you're writing the soul searching of telling the truth. And as you know, the truth vibrates the fastest. Speaking of the truth vibrating the fastest, you have now 2 of my favorite people together. I don't know if you guys have ever really met but Elisha Covey is extraordinary. That's extraordinary. She is wonderful inside and out, one of my favorite people on earth, and you're about to learn something just by having her on the Paradigm Shift.
Hell yeah. And Dave, sorry, but you're not the most beautiful person on this live any longer.
No, I'm not.
Oh, that's not even fair. You guys are both handsome. You're both good.
I'm the handsome hamster.
Okay, you're both hamster.
Alicia, am I pronouncing your name right?
Alicia, yes.
I like the spelling. It's unique. I'm super excited to connect with you today. Thank you for joining us at a different time on a Saturday night. How are you?
I'm wonderful, and thank you guys both for having me. It's such an honor. And sorry if I was late. I was on the Google link. Like, okay, I don't know why that was in my here. Yeah, we're here. Lucky we all have Jake, right?
Yeah.
Let's dive right in. I was looking at your content because I'm a fan, and I wanted to have a really exciting conversation. And the audience is in for such a treat. One thing I saw you talk about, and also Dave, you're really good at this too. And I'm sure everybody on here tonight can relate to being in a relationship in some capacity. Alicia, you talk about in a relationship, keeping that spark alive. What's your secret for that?
You know, Craig, that is a great question. And, you know, when I was younger, I would have given you the answer like, be good in bed. I mean, that's women, right? And now that I'm a little bit older, I'm like, well, it takes a little bit more than that. So I think that what has really helped me keep that spark alive with Charles is understanding my femininity and understanding how to move smoothly between my masculine and feminine sides. Because a lot of times in business, you have to take a masculine approach to things. But what I was not understanding when I was younger is that I would bring that same masculine approach home, and then it was like, well, why doesn't my husband want to have sex with me? Oh, because if he wanted to be married to a dude, he would be. So I have to right? I mean, you asked. Okay.
That's because that's because Charles is definitely so good looking. He could definitely be with any dude he wanted. So, but if he's interested, Craig and I are available, right?
I'll let it know.
What an awesome answer. Talk about authenticity. Dave, you're obviously doing really well with that as well. What's your secret?
Well, you know, it's so interesting because I've been married for 25 years and never been more in love with my wife, more attracted to my wife. And I think looking for what you want in your spouse is really important. I've spent many of the first years, I know, Craig, you're just engaged. It's really easy to fall into the trap and look for what you don't want. You know, let the shoes on the stairs bother you. Think to yourself, oh my gosh, I'm going to be in so much trouble because I used to drive home from Lee Steinberg from Newport Beach to Rancho Santa Fe, and it's about an hour to 2 hour drive depending on traffic. And Lee would invariably always hold me up, especially on the nights I was supposed to be home when dinner was being made or a party was being had. And I remember driving and literally manifesting what I didn't want by saying, oh my God, Julie, who's my wife, is going to be so mad at me. Oh, what, she's going to be so mad. What a B word, all these things. And that's what I got when I got home. And when I shifted my perspective and looked for what I wanted and said, you know what, I'm so blessed to have such a forgiving wife who knows I'm doing this to help economically our family and what we're doing. And I just can't wait to see her. And this is going to be amazing when I get there, even though I'm late. And that's exactly what I got. When you look for the queen in your wife, you're going to get the queen. When you look for the bee, you're going to get the bee, or the queen bee, which is even worse than just the bee. And so I look for the queen in my wife. And, I can just tell you I'm blessed because my wife is just beautiful, like Elisha, inside and out. And she is a boss B word, and she brings the masculine energy to her entrepreneur journey and her momship. And doesn't back down. But there's, nobody more feminine as well than my gorgeous wife. So I totally agree with Elisha saying, I would tell people, though, look for what you want in your spouse, and that's what you're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like the law of attraction. Beautifully said. And both of you, I want to acknowledge you guys are obviously doing something right. So obviously key takeaways from the audience. And also I love because it's a different perspective for both. And again, something that everybody can relate to. This is too much fun. Only negative I got going on is we don't have 10 hours to chat. Elisha, but I saw you talking about this, and I'm so excited to ask you about it. You talk about the two types of givers and takers. Tell us what you mean by that.
Oh my God, this was such a huge revelation for me. I feel like everybody knows, okay, there's givers and takers in your life, or at least if you're paying any attention, you know the people that are always draining you and taking from you, and then the people that fill you up. And so those are super easy to see. That to me is an agreeable giver, someone who, you know, if you ever need anything, you can turn to them. It's easy. But there's a second type of giver that it took me, I mean, probably a good 25 years to figure this out. I call them disagreeable givers because they come off like a little bit weird. You're like, I'm not sure if this person is a giver or not. I can't understand if they're giving, but really what it is that they're protecting. So they're the type of person that first they have to see what you're made of. They have to see if they align with you. They have to see if they agree with you and would support you. And then once you're in their inner circle, they'll give you the shirt off their back. So that one is one that's unique, and they're really cool, especially to have in your organization, because they protect the traditional givers that will overgive until, you know, they're dead on the floor. If you bring in some of those disagreeable givers, they kind of protect and guard that. And then of course there is the agreeable taker. I call these people wolves in sheep's clothing. And it's just like, they're so sweet and everybody loves them. They're the life of the party. But when you leave, you're like, damn, I think I just got attacked by a vampire. Like, I literally feel like I'm dying. And you wonder, it can be energetically, it can be financially, it can be in any area in your life, but you have to look for those people because they can trick you easily. And so once I figured that out, it made it so much easier for me to see who do I need to keep in my inner circle and who do I need to keep far away.
Dave, you're going to love this one. It reminds me of the old feed you or bleed you.
Yeah, so that's the same spectrum of determining, you know, first an open mind or a closed mind. And to that disagreeable and agreeable analogy, I think it's important for open minds and closed mind, because a lot of times, remember, not everybody has a closed mind all the time. And if you can find someone who's predominantly closed minded with an open mind, it has the same effect as an agreeable or disagreeable giver. And so when you find someone that may be more distinguished in who and what they interact with, when you find an open mind from someone like that, they're actually, like Elisha has alluded to, someone that's going to give you actually more, because they're very specific and protected in what they do, and they won't be drained like sometimes the agreeable givers are, the givers that are giving to everyone, and they want to help everyone, but if you want to help everyone, you end up helping no one. But the spectrum itself allows you to feed those that feed you, allow in varying degrees for people to fall away at different times, determined upon their closed mind or an open mind, but also to distinguish those vampires, those that are bleeding you. And you can reconcile gratitude, the ability to find the light, the love, and the lessons in everyone, by allowing those people to be fired or taken away from your life. And heavily have been on that journey for the last 35 years, since I'm a little bit older than Elisha. I know you wouldn't believe that, me being side by side to her in this visual, but I am older than she is. And throughout those years, I've learned how important it is, because I'm a pleaser at heart, and I could be drained very much by everyone around me because I want to please them, I want to give, and I've learned myself to utilize that spectrum of feeding and bleeding, which obviously both of you have done such an extraordinary job with as well. And I'm proud to have helped both of you, but also proud of both of you for how many people that you've helped.
What an awesome conversation. Too much fun, guys. There's literally no place in the world that I'd rather be. We'll land the plane with this. Dave talks about this often, and Elisha, I saw you phrasing it a little bit different way, and I'm so excited to bring it up. Perspective has made all the difference in the world for me, right? Like the old life is happening for us, not to us. Elisha, I saw you talking about how everything is for your own good. I think everybody could hear that tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it took me a minute to get there. I wasn't born this way. Somebody asked me, were you always this optimistic? And I was like, fuck no. Like, dude, I have been through hell and back. And then I learned that if you're going to have to walk a hard path, it's much nicer to be optimistic while you're doing it. So it's so much about your perspective. And I mean, I learned this, I have to say, I learned it from Dave. Always look for the light, the love, and the lesson, because it's there. And something that I really love is, Dave, you were talking about this, and I had switch my mindset, because a lot of times as you're growing and learning, you do have to realize, okay, these people are bleeding me and I might need to move away from that. And for a lot of people, I think that can feel very bad. Like, oh, I'm getting rid of people and I'm cutting people out of my life. And I read this book, and I wish I could remember what it was called. I think it was Being Happy for No Reason. But the way that she addresses that is she looks at every single relationship with others as an appointment, we don't know how long our appointment is. You know, Craig, maybe our appointment is just today for 15 minutes and it's great. And we met the needs that the universe or a higher power had for us. And maybe for you and me, Dave, it's years, a decade, who knows? But when that appointment is over, we can look at it and look for the light and the love and the lesson in that, and then be grateful for it and let that go. And if it's a person that has to let go, you just let it go and be grateful.
Alicia's got nuggets, Big Dave.
Yeah, she's amazing. She is so amazing. And I just to add to that, right, I also teach, what are you doing to participate in your perception? That is defined within the context of accountability. How am I participating in this perception of self and of others, and trying not to understand, I will never know your perception. I'll never know that because it's literally mathematically impossible. So I'm dealing at all times with my participation in that perception, and utilizing all that we know to be protected and promoted, to know the pain, the setbacks, the failure, the mistakes, through faith is protecting and promoting us. And the nice thing about being older than you two, even though I look so much younger than both of you, is that I have the advantage of seeing outcomes, right? I can see the outcome of my bankruptcy here 16 years later. I can see the outcome of me surrounding myself with the wrong people and the wrong ideas, unlike my 23-year-old daughter, right? I've had all these years, longer than she's been alive, to learn about, hey, I really wasted a shitload of time. I've wasted so much energy complaining and worrying and judging and putting conditions on. If I just would have felt I was being protected and promoted. And it stems, and I'm going to finish and land my plane with this one, right? You got to believe there's something bigger than you that loves you more than your mom. It's that simple. If you can, and I only spend minutes and moments each day outside of this belief, by the way, but every day I spend minutes and moments still outside, not days, weeks, months, and years as previously spent. But if you can just work on that every day, saying, okay, in this participation of this perception, this situation, event, circumstance, or person, right? How am I being promoted and could this actually be something that's pushing me to a better place, a better situation, or better people? And I say, absolutely. Only spend minutes, moments outside of your faith, whatever the religious, philosophical, spiritual faith you have. Spend minutes and moments outside of it, and you will be far beyond what most people can perceive, and your perception will be far beyond what you could perceive in itself. An infinite, wonderful world of optimism, and joy and happiness for everyone, abundance. And I don't live in a world for me, I live in a world through me. And you both come through me for others. And I love you both, appreciate you both, and thank you for taking your Saturday. And thank you for changing the time and being flexible for me to watch my son's football game. Thank you.
Bye. And Elisha, I'm just going to put the attention out there that our appointment together is going to go further than just this paradigm shift. So I look forward to connecting.
Oh, one more thing. Wayne Dyer has a trolley analogy, by the way. People come and get on and get off your trolley. And so, yes, you could come for a 5-minute ride, but you're welcome to hop back on and take another 5-minute ride. Or some people hang on for all years and years on your trolley. So welcome to the T train here, the paradigm shift, the trolley of jolly. That's what we are. The two handsome hamsters. We love you.
This just keeps getting like worse. We got to get off now before the joke. I can't help myself.
Quick, for our audience that tunes in 79 weeks in a row, what's the best way for them to support you and follow you on your journey?
You're very kind, Craig. Instagram is easy. It's Elisha, Elisha, Covey, Covey. So hit me up there.
Awesome. Thank you both genuinely from the bottom of my heart for joining me on this Saturday. It was so much fun, so much wisdom, so many nuggets. I love you both and have a great rest of the weekend.
All right. Back
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Big hug, Craigie. Hug me, Craig. All right. See you guys later. Bye.
The Power Shift episode 79 in the books. We'll see you guys next week for the Paradigm Shift episode 80. Wow. 80 weeks. Effort, consistency, commitment. That's the difference. It makes a difference. For anyone else out there that's looking to achieve success in anything, right? Fitness, relationships, business, anywhere. Something that you can control is your effort, your consistency. Are you interested or are you committed? It's very simple, but very effective. 80 weeks. We'll see you guys next weekend. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're not already in the CLS texting community, text number on the bottom of the screen. And also, if you're looking for a good read tonight because you don't want to go out and you want to sharpen the axe, you can always read Uncle Dave's book, Connected to Goodness. Look at this handsome mug right here, like a fine wine. All right, guys, have an unbelievable weekend, and we'll see you next week. Love you guys. Yeet.